Yeah, so we're now on air. So welcome everybody. My name is Connie Walker. I'm from the National Optical Astronomy Observatory, and here in the audience with me today is one of my students, or the students of the Education and Public Outreach Department. This is Ricky Maciel. You want to say hello briefly?
Sure. Hey, everyone. My name is Ricky Maciel. I'm a student here at the University of Arizona. I'm a student here in the astronomy program, and I work with Connie.
And also we have over here with us a very, very esteemed guest. This is this is Peter Strasser, and Peter is the director of the technical, the technical director at the International Dark Sky Association. And I thought since today we're going to be talking about glare and the glare activity from the quality lighting teaching kit, that he's the perfect person to be here and give us shed some light, on the subject, and and also maybe talk a little bit about the American Medical Association's recent report on LED lighting. I think that applies to the entire world. Talk a little bit about that, I think. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen who are online here, you next. But I'd like to say too, if you don't mind very much, if you're not speaking, please, if you think it's a noisy background that you have, please feel free to mute your mic a little bit. And the reason we say this is that it really does cause problems for other people to hear whoever's speaking. But of course, you have to remember to unmute your mic so that we can hear you when you do want to speak. I also want to mention to people that are coming online and viewing that we have ample opportunity during the entire hour that we have here for you to ask questions and answers. That's the whole purpose of being here, especially for those who have received, those 100 people or so who have received the kits, the quality lighting teaching kits. So on your screen, at the upper right-hand portion, there's the Google symbol that has the 9 squares, 3 by 3. If you click on that, you could have at least a couple apps that are applicable in this instance, and one is called the Q&A app that you can click on and ask questions. You'll have to type them in. Live guests here on the show can talk to us, but those who are just viewing and have Gmail accounts will be able to text in their questions. And the other app that you may be interested in is something called Showcase. So on the Showcase app right now, I have 2 items. One that shows off our website that has all the materials on there from the Quality Lighting Teaching Kit at noao.edu/education/qltkit.php. So that's on there for your edification, as well as the video that goes along with this particular Hangout called the glare activity. That's also linked on there as well for your edification. So now who we have on screen, I'm going to go left, I guess left to right. I don't know if it's the same thing on your screen, but we lost somebody. Oh no, we lost Nurali, but he'll be back, I'm sure. He's very good at coming back in and out. There he is again, see? Okay, so first we have on our screen is Bev Sutton, and I've known Bev for centuries. I mean, I don't see her very often, but she's here in Tucson, and she's been one of the most active teachers in terms of dark skies education, and she's done lots and lots of globe at night stuff. And I just want to have you say hello and say where you are and stuff like that. Please, Bev.
Okay, hi everybody, Bev Sutton here. I'm an 8th grade science teacher. Even though dark skies and stuff is not really part of my curriculum, I make space for it. I use it as an extra credit activity. I give students extra credit for actually making the citizen science observations. I'm in Tucson, and my new school will be Mansfeld, which is a STEM magnet school. Please excuse my cat, who seems to think that I should be paying attention to her and not to you. Knowing that I'm going to be at a STEM school that finds citizen science something very important, I think I'll get a lot more support this time, which is great. And that's pretty much it. Thanks, Connie.
Yeah, I know a few teachers there at Mansfield, so we could talk more later if you'd like.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then Ezechi with the most wonderful last name I can never pronounce. Would you like to introduce yourself, Ezechi? He's been one of our regulars on the Hangouts. I think there might be a delay. Do you want to say hello, Azechi?
His mic is muted as well.
Oh, unmute your mic, Azechi. Writing. Well, we'll get back to maybe I can do that, but we'll get back to Azechi in a minute. And another very, very constant guest, we value his opinion very, very much, is Nurali Juaji here, and I also probably don't pronounce his name as well as I should. Nurali, would you like to say hello? Juaji? Oh my goodness, I think Africa's having a little bit of a problem. I believe Azechi is from Nigeria and Nurali is from Tanzania, and we'll try to get back to them in just a minute because truly their input has always been very, very, very helpful. So Oscar, tell us where you are.
Hello. Actually, I'm from Mexico, but I live in Argentina. I'm doing my PhD in road lighting systems, energy efficiency in road lighting system. And we are participating in this project because we are part of, well, I'm part of an SPIE chapter, and a student chapter that we got in our university.
That's really cool. Yes, we had about 20 of the kids go to different SPIE chapters. That's an Illumination Engineering Society, and they were all over the world. And it was our honor to do that. All right, so we have, let's go back to Azechi. I unmuted Azechi. How are you?
I'm fine, Connie. Hello, everyone.
Oh, there.
Yeah,
and hi, everybody. Are these teachers?
We have a big house here. I am Chumachke Emmanuel. This is Onobi Peter Ofo. This is Bukola Adeoti. Then Na Onyebuchi. Then we have a lady here, Lovely, and then Saraj.
Now don't quiz me because I'll fail the quiz.
Sorry?
I will fail any quiz if you ask me their names again. I remember Manuel. From another time, I think.
Okay.
Nice to see all of you.
That's that. Yes, we are actually we are from Nigeria, NASDAQ Center for Basic Science, Nsukka in Nigeria. The center is located at Enugu State of Nigeria. Here in the center, we actually carry out activities in space science, research, and we of course also go for outreach program in sensitizing the society on in the knowledge of space science and astronomy. Mm-hmm. So today we actually want to have a big house where we can actually participate in the Hangout, in today's Hangout. So these are my team, or we are as a team. We've received the kit and we've actually gone through it, and we plan to actually be involved together in today's Hangout.
Oh wow! Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, the outreach you do, is it mostly to high school students or students a little bit younger?
We do the center actually. It's a bigger society. We don't limit what we do to only secondary school, because here in Nigeria, people are not still all that knowledgeable in space science and astronomy, which falls fully or well in the mandate of our center. So of course, we take our outreach program both to a younger generation and to, of course, advanced people. So in this program, this life quality training program, our aim and target here is for secondary school students.
Very good. Okay.
That's our primary target. But then we don't mind, depending on the turnout of things, we can still extend it to a bigger, a broader society. But our primary target is secondary school students.
Well, you certainly have a lot of work in front of you. I commend all of you for all of your efforts. Thank you so much. hopefully we'll get Nurli back on here. I call him Nurli or Juaji. One is his first name, one is his last name. He doesn't mind either one. I'm sorry about losing contact with him. He'll probably be on shortly. So I thought maybe we, how many of you, have you all been able to look at the video for the glare activity?
Yes.
We've gone to the video.
I have not.
Okay, that's okay, Bev. Okay, well, I'm glad the other two of you have. That's a good thing. So what we'd like to do a little bit, just for those who are out there watching, it would be good just to take less than 5 minutes and just review it. Yeah, so that we can get it. So what I'd like you to do while you're just reviewing it for 5 minutes is please come up with some questions if you have not already, and we can go through and talk about those questions, and also then turn the mic over to Peter, because a lot of those things that we're going to be talking about have to do with his expertise in all things technical when it comes to the International Dark Sky Association. And so, but we'll concentrate on glare, and talk maybe a little bit about disability glare and discomfort glare, and go over the important points about the American Medical Association report. Now, I know that this is for the United States, but believe me, this report is applicable all around the world, and it has, and I think especially, some impact in the countries that are developing, because they're going to come to a point in time where they have to make choices, and for a lot of places around the world right now, those choices are being made right now as to what kind of lighting, and we want to always maintain using quality lighting. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And let's get going. So I'm gonna switch over to Ricky, and here you go.
All right. So hey everyone. So if you open up your kit and you find your glare bin, inside you'll find a black flashlight called a mag light. You'll find some other flashlight, a larger one of assorted colors. You'll also find tape measure and a couple of inkjet transparencies held together by a ring. So there's actually 4 of them. And also used for this activity, which isn't inside the bin itself, is the foil that we provided inside the kit. So basically this activity is meant to mimic the effects of glare. So what we have is, actually one thing I did forget to mention, directly behind me there's this eye chart here. So it's a standard eye testing chart that we have. So you're supposed to stand about 20 feet away from it, and 6 meters. 6 meters, sorry. So yeah, do you want to?
Do we turn the lights off?
I think we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, karibu.
Oh, okay. We got him back on.
Yay!
Excellent. Okay.
Así,
Alright, so we're dimming the lights here, so we
Chupo,
detected the flashlights with the side chart. So what we want the students to do is to look at this eye chart, to stand back 6 meters, and to see how far down the list they can read, to test how well they can see. And we want to keep track of how well they're doing throughout this. So they'll take that first, I guess, data point of how far they can go down it, and then we want to have someone holding the our mag light here, and you can see already there's a bunch of glare just from the wick.
I'm gonna switch to the other side
Okay, sure.
so they can see.
All right, so yeah, so Connie's holding them just fine right there. So you want the big flashlight pointing at the eye chart and the smaller one pointing at the student. So you want to point the flashlight close to their eyes so that they can see the effects of glare. You don't want to point them directly at them, just so we don't get anyone with discomfort or anything like that. So after they do their first eye test, we want to have this this inkjet transparency, and we hold this up in front of us, and we see if we can do. Or we go through the eye test one more time, and this time there should be some noticeable effect of glare because of the mag light pointing at the student. So they hold one transparency in front of them and see how far down the list they can go, and they take that data point, and then they go ahead and use 2 transparencies, do the same, and then 3 transparencies, and then 4. So once they've done all that, they should see a greatly diminished ability to go down the eye chart and to see. And this is the point of the activity. So after they get to this point, we want them to I guess, assume an active role in finding solutions for minimizing glare, basically. So we have this mag light here that's producing the glare. So we want to hand this over to the students at this point, and using the foil or whatever resources you have available in your classroom, you want them to design some kind of shielding or something that'll reduce the effects of glare. So once they do this, actually, let me show you real quick. So I have a little foil cap that I use. So I just put this down at the end of the mag light, and what it does is directs the light directly downward. Do you mind if I borrow this real quick? So if I hold this, let's see, so it's pointing almost directly at the webcam. So you see the effects of glare in this case. If I take the cap and I put it over, now we see the light is shining directly down. So that's one solution. And we encourage you to, or encourage the students to find as many solutions as possible and to be creative with these. But shielding is typically what they end up going for. So once they've found a proper or a solution that they think is okay, we want them to test this out one more time, doing the eye chart with their shielding or whatever on the mag light, and see if they can do as well as they did the first time without any of the inkjet transparencies. And so if they've done this and they're satisfied with their solution, we encourage them to try to explain why the solution works so well. And if there are other students around who are not quite at that point, maybe they can collaborate. I guess we can leave this all up to individual instructors.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And so there's, if you go into the activity itself, if you go into the video, you'll see that there's different segments to testing, and so pay attention to those. But the key ones are the ones with the mag light towards the person's, say, mouth, not the eyes, but maybe the mouth, and then to test it out with their solutions. And it could be the shield, but also we've had success with these clear transparencies that are colored, so like maybe a red colored transparency that's you could see through, that dims the light. So it could be a matter of shielding the light. It also could be a matter of dimming the light. So that's about this kind of depth we wanted to go into today, just as a refresher to those who've already experienced it and those who have not. It would be something to anchor your questions on. So I'm going to just go around and turn on the lights, and I'll be with you in a sec. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. That's probably, that's too much light, but anyway. We're okay.
All right, so I'll get this back to Connie.
I'll turn these off. Get to see my stomach, I guess. Okay. Sorry about that. So I wanted to put a little more attention on Pete, and we're going to be talking with him in a second. But I thought that we could start out by reminding everybody that this is a problem-based learning kind of a situation, and what that phrase really means is that you don't really give too much information to the kids. You give enough for them to anchor some foundation, to have as a foundation, but then you let them, you give them an issue, you have them discuss solutions, and that's what they're trying to do by the end of this activity. So it is somewhat open-ended in that regard, and that's good because it allows them to explore. And so with that in mind, I was wondering if we could go through and maybe start with Oscar and go from right to left on our screen. And Oscar, you're muted at the moment, and everybody is. Thank you so much. That was very kind of you. If you could, I know Oscar, they've been using it down there in Argentina already, some of the activities, and you might have not gotten to the glare yet. I don't know, Oscar, but do you have any questions with respect to the glare activity?
Okay. Yes, as you said, we started working with the kid, I think 3 weeks ago. 2 or 3 weeks ago, we went to a rural school and we're work with some kids about between 12 and 15 years, and it was a very good experience. But of course, we got some things that we want to share with you, specifically with the glare activity. Um, we could see that the activities for the kids is a little bit not so fun, to say in some way. So, well, before that, I'm gonna tell you how we work. We are a student chapter, and we divided all the topics of the kit between among all the members. So the guys that are responsible for this topic are two guys that are very proactive, and they want to do some changes in the activity in order to make it a little bit funnier. They are. I wanted first to ask you if that is possible, if we can change some parts of the activities or add others, like
Absolutely.
I don't know.
What do you have in mind?
Because this guy told me that they want to do better than using the chart with the letters. Use a kind of game like a mini basket game or a video game, even that, and make the things funnier and I don't know, better for the kids. And also they wanna do some. They wanna build some glasses with the transparencies in order to have to use better this transparency, because we also saw that kids sometimes cheat when they are doing the activity, because they believe that if they don't answer in the right way, they're gonna lose. So they sometimes memorize the letters of the charts, or they cheat because they believe that if they do in the wrong way, they are worse than their mates. So they want to avoid that, building some glasses with the transparencies and doing another kind of activities.
Well, tell me more about the transfer lenses, because I'm not familiar. I don't think anybody here, well, we may not be familiar with them. Could you tell us more about those?
About what? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Transfer lenses, you said. Could you tell me what you mean by that?
I'm sorry, I didn't get you.
That's okay. I am not familiar with the phrase transfer lenses. You had used that a couple times now. You said that you want to build glasses that have transfer lenses in them?
No, transparencies.
With the transparencies, yes. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, with the transparencies, with the inject transparencies, we want to build some glasses. You know that?
Great idea.
Okay. We're gonna cut the transparencies and give the shape of some glasses. We don't know if we're gonna buy some cheap sunglasses or to maybe build. We've got a 3D printer, so maybe we can do something with that. And
well, we did start out with glasses, but it just got very expensive. There's two ways to go about it. They do have cheap sunglasses online, but they're not cheap enough to do everything you want to do when we built 100 kits. But for you, for individual places, that's a great idea. I could look more into that myself. And another thing, they have these diffraction grading glasses. You can find the company that just sells the yellow, there's like yellow cardboard frame. I'm sure there's a company that just sells that part. And if we could find out where that is, then we might be able to make our own transparency glasses, like you're saying. That's a good idea. And I also like your first idea, too. You had mentioned about having either a video game or something else. That's a great idea. Yeah, especially for the younger kids. So Oscar, if you could tell me later maybe what kind of video games you have in mind, we could talk more in depth about that. I would really appreciate it.
We are not sure. We're discussing that. We are thinking maybe a very, very simple game. I don't know, like Tetris or this. Do you remember this snake that was in the first cell phones? Kind of snake. We don't really know at this moment, but these guys are already working and thinking what to do. And next Hangouts, maybe we can tell you about what we have in mind.
Yeah, I have to give a shout out for your group because they have already translated all of the posters and a few of the key documents into Spanish. And Oscar, we used them last week at a workshop on the Canary Islands.
Oh, really? How was that?
Thank you. They worked perfectly. Thank you so very much.
Oh,
and
we're glad to hear that.
And I think our webmaster, I've given him all the files, so he should be putting them on the webpage.
Oh, great. Great.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
So anybody who wants to translate into their language, we are very happy to post translations. We try to keep the same formatting if possible with the posters, but we could talk about that offline with whomever is interested. So, hi, Joaji, do you want to talk about the activity that have you tried it there, or you tend to try it there? What's up? Oh, Joaji, could I interrupt just for a minute?
Yeah, let me come in with the internet today.
Okay.
The internet didn't work the first time, so I had to find some other ways.
Well, you are relentless, so I knew you'd come back.
Been able to at least make some sense. And today I have some few more of our colleagues who will be working with it from the sample. Mr. Ibrahim, maybe you can introduce. My name is Noeli Jivaji for the others from the Open University, and we've been doing this also last year. And I'm trying to still keep things going as much as possible. Yeah, so maybe Mr. Ibrahim can.
Okay. My name is Ibrahim Mohammed. I'm a student of the Open University of Tanzania. I'm a teacher also of physics.
This Mr. Shaban was here. We did it with me last year or with me today.
How are you? Yeah, Mr. Shabani. Okay, we are here this evening to join with Dr. Jivaji. Yeah.
Okay, you might have to get close to the mic because
Organize the end of the students and the team. We have one student
your bandwidth is.
who was here with us last year also.
Jivaji, there you go. Yeah, your bandwidth is not. You might have to turn the video off and keep the audio on because we can't get all your words. Oh, now they're frozen. All right. We do while we're waiting for Nurali Jivaji. Are you still there? We do have a question from the audience, and this is from Marie Kant.
Yeah.
It's very related to.
Yeah. Did you not hear me?
Oh no, I didn't, Jivaji. No. What's up?
No. I was just commenting with my friend here. Yeah. So it's okay. Just carry on with the question. Yeah.
Oh, there was a question that somebody had asked. You were not. You were frozen, I guess. So we were trying to.
Really? Oh, okay. So did you not see all the introductions that I made of my friends who are with me here today? Did you hear my? So at least I'm just saying that we're still organizing ourselves, and I've now get at least some few people who are more active and more now aware of what is going to happen. I have some students also with me here. And taking a good interest. One of the students is from last year, and he will be able to guide the others also.
Okay. Oops. Okay. So, Jiwaji, if you could just turn off your video so we could hear your audio better. Your bandpass is limited. So then we'll be able to hear you better. I'm sorry. And as he's doing that, Marie Kant has asked something similar to what was being talked about by Oscar. Oscar had also said much of the same thing. She would like to change some materials to be suitable for younger kids. And I think, Marie, that's a very, very good idea. Anything that you have changed, please feel free to send us, because we will post it and have others, because others have the same question, and they would probably want to use your materials as well. So I know, for instance, for the eye chart that we saw here, there is an equivalent eye chart for younger kids that have shapes like boats and houses and cars and stuff like that. So, and you may have something more creative like a video game that Oscar was talking about. So yes, please feel free, let us know. So, Waji, you back? Say hello, please. Do you have any questions to add to all of this? Oh, good. Okay. We have another question here from Noelia Alcalde, and she is from Argentina too, I remember. She says, hello everyone, I want to ask you about leaving the kids to work alone. When we did the activities with the kid, we felt it was not possible. That you have to judge by the kinds of students you have and the age groups you have. It is extremely adaptable with these activities. For the older kids, we might just want to state the problem and let them figure out the solution on their own. We've done that too with kids that are about 11 to 14 years old, but it does depend on the type of kids, whether you've known them to be able to work on their own before. If you need to guide them more, that is perfectly fine. You can do that as well. So it just depends on who the kids are and how well they can be left alone. It's kind of hard to judge or make a general statement. I don't know if I've answered your question, Noelia, but I hope so. Okay, so Jiwaji, are you back online? Do you want me to unmute you? So that, let me see if I can unmute you. I think you're muted from your end, but let me see if I can unmute you. Nope. Okay, we're going to come back to Jiwaji because I really value his opinion. He's always has some insights that we haven't thought about before. So Ezechi, hi, how are you? And you're muted too, so let me unmute you. There you go.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. We are good. I think we all understand. We are flowing very well with the message of the program. Okay. Though we are yet to meet students on this program. Why? Because like I earlier wrote to you, I told you the status of the school curriculum now. Most of them are within the exam period, and after the exam, they always go on vacation. So we are hopeful that when they resume, that's in September, hopefully, that we hope to commence the activity in their schools. But so far, we've been well abreast with the videos, the information on the Quality Lights teaching program. So we're just waiting for, hopefully in September, to commence our activity here.
Well, that's fine, Ezechi. That's perfectly fine. But I know that your group is so active, and you've looked at the videos, and you've probably thought a lot about the activities as they apply to your classrooms. Is there anything that you might do differently with this particular activity? Any changes that you would like to do for your children that you'd be teaching?
No, nothing really. They are well explanatory, and the kits are available. And of course, we've understood how to pass this message, the glaring activity message to them. So I don't think there is anything that we think we may have to change or maybe remodify in the program. It suits us well.
Oh, very good. Okay. Well, yeah, I think I love to hear that kind of stuff too. But you'll find sometimes too when you're actually doing the activity for the first time that you'll say, "Oops, I wish we had this with us right now because I would change X, something over here." So
Yeah.
don't feel bad about that. All classrooms are different, and it's always good to do what's best for the students. So let me know if you need any help with anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I will.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. So I'm just going to go back and see if Jiwaji's available, just to see if he's there. And I'm going to wait a little bit because his connection is a little bit slower than everybody else's. Jiwaji, do you want to add your words of wisdom here? Oh, darn.
Hello? Hi, Connie.
Oh, hi. There you are.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to listen to you all. I switched off everything. Yes.
Well, thank you for your introduction there. I was wondering, though, if you could comment on the activity. Are there any changes that you would make?
Could you repeat that a bit?
My pleasure. Are there any changes to the activity that you might make?
Well, as I said, we are still in an organizational sort of issues. So for the time being, from what I have seen, I cannot really tell our teachers what they might want to change. But in case they want to change, I think I'll have to judge and decide whether it is a reasonable change or not. Yeah.
So, Jiwaji, are your students that you'll be teaching mostly at secondary levels as well?
Yeah, actually, it is the lower secondary whom I am targeting this time, because last time we had the upper secondary school, but now I'm targeting the younger students so that they are already more aware of it. They'll be in the system for longer, and they can more impact more over the years that they'll be at the school, and to continue to learn about this also.
Yeah, I should say I think the only activity of the 6 that might be challenging for the younger kids is the energy activity, but we'll get to that in a couple weeks. We'll talk more about that one in a couple weeks.
I'll ask them to prepare also themselves, the teachers also, to look at it and to look at the resources, and they'll be more prepared, I think.
That sounds great. Hold on for just a second. Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot my power cord, so in about 10 minutes we may have a rude awakening. 20% power, and it's going down fast, and I think it's because we're holding this hangout. I apologize. But let's get on to Bev, and then after we talk with Bev, I'd like to have Pete take over and talk more about glare from his perspective, and maybe a little bit about the AMA report. So, Bev, take it away.
Okay, couple of quick points. I had a question first. Those transparencies, what are they actually simulating? I've maybe looking through Windows, trying to see something. I wasn't entirely sure what they were meant to simulate.
Well, thank you for that question, because it's a very good question. It's actually simulating sort of what they call veiling illumination across the eye, making it so that you cannot contrast as well. You can't make out the details as well because you have this in your eyes it's the scattering of the photons, the energy pack. I mean, sorry, the light in your eye, and it creates this sort of veil of light. And in some cases, actually, it's going to, if you have the mag light that's in the kit directly in your eyes, which you really don't want to tell the teachers you're going to be doing because you don't want to blind the kids either. But if you were to do that, you'd see these starbursts because the material that we're using simulates the conditions for cataracts, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you have this rough transparency on one side. One side of the transparency is very rough, and it allows for that kind of starburst pattern. But you won't see it if you don't. We don't want to advocate putting the light directly in the kids' eyes. So, but if you were amenable to doing that, the kids would see that and they would understand what it means to have eyes that are aging, basically.
Okay. Oh, okay. I like that additional explanation because I was thinking, with eyeglasses or driving at night looking through a windshield, but yeah, you had 4, so I was kind of confused. Okay, so okay, so that out of the way, I have to say, Oscar, I think your idea of using a game is fantastic. That is an excellent idea. So I know that TUSD, the 7th grade teachers at any rate, I know that they get flashlights in their kit. So they would be able to use this a lot better than I can. I don't get flashlights in my kit. And I was thinking to have all students engaged, I would want to divide them into groups. I would want to have an LED and a regular flashlight for each group. And I was thinking like maybe use an old Game Boy or something like that as the game. Although now, if they have a smartphone and are playing Pokemon Go, that might actually work. Actually have them with their game at a specified distance from them, and then use the light and the glare with that, because I know they will have experienced that outdoors. Playing outdoors, I play a very similar game, and it is frustrating as heck to be outdoors and have lights glaring on your screen. So I truly think that is a genius suggestion. As far as making the glasses, I was also thinking you can get bulk supplies of solar glasses for looking at the sun safely, and you might be able to use those, remove the inner lenses and use those to make the glasses that you were planning to make. I think that was pretty much all the little notes that I made for myself, but thank you.
Well, I have good news for you, Beth.
Yes, ma'am.
If you are in town with me, I have a half a dozen of these kits that we're leaving for this Arizona.
Sweet.
We're lending out to teachers, and I would absolutely love lending it out to you if you'd like that.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
We'll supply what you need for your class.
Okay. Thank you.
And I thank you for your ideas. I'd love to talk more again with you offline because you're here in town, so that's really nice.
Okay.
Well, we are doing quite well. Thank you for all your incredible questions. I'm going to check one more time for the questions online, and I think we don't have any at the moment. So what I'd like to do is to turn the mic over to Pete. And again, Pete Strasser is the technical director at the International Dark Sky Association. And I thought this is really kind of a cool thing because he could, in effect, give us information that we could use with our students in the classroom.
Sure, I'd like to. Yeah, after hearing what's the content and context of the work that you're trying to do in the classroom, to bring in the AMA report as well. The notion of glare is becoming far more conspicuous to the population in general because of LED technology. 2 reasons associated with that. One is it's a very precise point source of illumination. So as opposed to an arc tube where you had diffused over a lens, you're seeing far more of a point, and those sorts of illumination sources lend themselves to glare. Anytime that there's a slight imperfection in the surface through which light is going, whether it be atmosphere or your windshield or my glasses or my cornea surface or my vitreous humor. We've got all these stuff that the light has to go through to get to the receptor. And as you were noticing with the transparencies, it becomes more and more difficult for the light to get through. It also becomes more scattered, and it actually starts to impede visibility. And that's totally the opposite of what lighting should do. It should enhance visibility, but if it's done poorly, it will actually do the opposite and impede it. The notion of the glare and the discomfort and the inhibition of visibility has become quite pronounced with the advent of headlights that are on some automobiles. Usually, if I'm giving a presentation, all I have to do is say, those headlights. And people just kind of understand right away there's a type of headlight that's out there that's a very piercing blue color, and it causes discomfort, and it actually makes things more difficult to see with the oncoming traffic. And that's a function of two things, the source and the spectrum, which is not something that hasn't really been spoken about in this particular exercise. I don't know if it's relevant at the time. I think it may be, especially with the advent of the new technology. LEDs are out there. They will be the dominant player of illumination for the next few decades. I think it'd be interesting to see in the source of light that you're using to have this Maglite source, providing it's an old incandescent, as well as an LED source. That would be very interesting to see, because you'd have the point source causing a problem and the spectrum. Usually the blue kind of hued LEDs we see in flashlights are quite cold in color temperature, using 5,500 to 6,500 Kelvin that are used, and they have a tremendous amount of blue light associated with it. It is that short wavelength, high energy spectrum which is most causative to glare. And that is what the AMA report that came out just a few weeks ago tried to emphasize. It's that the colder products, meaning having a higher Kelvin temperature, can have a problem associated with glare and making visibility poorer because of the aging eye in particular, and just the amount of blue light that's associated with high brightness white LEDs. Their assertion was to try to choose LED products that have a lower Kelvin temperature, meaning to have a less amount of blue light. Their recommendation at present was 3,000 Kelvin. There should be a very important point made, and that is the inappropriateness of using the Kelvin scale to describe how much blue light is associated with the product. It's not. You can't say that all 3,000 Kelvin sources have the same spectral power distribution. It is a gap in our industry. It is something that needs to be addressed. We need to have another metric that will actually be relevant to how much blue light is there. I envision someday a value associated with how much blue light is below a certain spectral power distribution. Like, let's see, this product has only 10% light below 500 nanometers. There needs to be a scale or a metric or some means of discussing the product that indicates that specifically, instead of the blanket term of saying 3,000 Kelvin. We use that because that's all we have. There is really nothing else, and it's a huge gap, and there needs to be discussion made in metrology as far as how will we describe what is happening. It hadn't been an issue in the past, because in the past we really only had four sources of light that were common to the outdoor environment: high pressure sodium, low pressure sodium, metal halide, some mercury vapor. All these things were just not so much a problem with the amount of blue light that they had. There has been some rebuttal to the AMA position, particularly from some elements of the lighting industry, essentially saying, hey, doctors, stay where you, don't go in our territory. You don't belong in the lighting industry. But I figure 535 physicians voting on this unanimously that it is a problem. I think that has some merit and that has some weight, and it really needs to be discussed specifically with respect to it is a problem, it needs to be addressed by the industry. The 3000 Kelvin light was sort of falling back on it, saying this is the best thing that we have at present. It's still an economical means of illumination, but there's still blue light associated with it, and we need to come up with a better way of figuring out what's going on. Having this blue light and the LED technology being at the forefront, I think it's important that the students understand that. And I think it'd be great if they had a multiple source experimentation that can be done with this particular kit. It shouldn't be all that much. I know you can get, I mean, we have a company called Harbor Freight, and they put out these little LED flashlights and they essentially give them away. It wouldn't be all that expensive. I shouldn't think to get that sort of addition into the kit. But it'd be very important. I think having these being the source, not just in the flashlight, but will also be for offices, will also be for home illumination, be outdoor illumination. Just to understand that there are issues associated with using LEDs, that the blue light is a factor. As you age, it certainly does become an issue. I'll vouch for that. Having the light scatter more as we age, you see this internal reflection and illumination in the eye, and it actually impedes visibility. And I think that needs to be kind of an important thing when associated with lighting. If lighting ever impedes your vision, it's done wrong. And I think having somebody shine a flashlight in your face, the obvious thing the person's going to say is, don't do that. Don't shine light in my face. Brilliant. Yes. Design. Okay, that's a great way of approaching it. Let's not do that. And even though that's a very common thing that we see in lighting practice today, is shining light and distributing light poorly. It defeats the task as opposed to making it, as opposed to improving it. So I think this is a very smart thing to do, to show the students that something as simple as don't aim the light at my eye is a great solution. And it's not something that's put into play even by the experts.
Wow. Okay, you guys online, do you have any questions for Pete? Because this has been an incredibly, very well.
I wanted to say something.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Pete. It is really good to hear about the things you're mentioning, because actually my research topic of my PhD thesis is about effect of a spectral power distribution of light sources, and we are really interested in that effects related with the contribution of the blue part of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. We are doing research about that, and I didn't know that I could apply this or talk about this topic in this activity, and maybe talk with the kids about that. But as you said, it's very important to talk about that even though the LED lighting have very good advantages and very good things, they also have not very good things or bad things.
Yeah, and that's a very important distinction to make, that there's both promise and peril with the technology. We can, yes. Let's benefit from all the good that they have and all the potential benefits that they have with the different phosphor coatings in the way of tuning the spectrum, as opposed to just saying, let's get the absolute most efficacy, the most lumens per watt, and call it the best. And that's one of the problems that we're finding with the technology, is they're trying to squeeze as many lumens per watt. Everything else take a back seat and and that's short-sighted, and it needs to change.
Yes, and not as you mentioned, not all has been said about LED technology. There's a lack of research still about all the effects of this kind of light.
Yes.
So I just wanted to mention that because it was really interesting for me to me.
Yeah, it's a topic that we see as being global. Often it comes out when good has switched over from one source to another, and there's a lot of called buyer's remorse. Thinking, I didn't realize we were getting this light. It looked good during the test, but to live under it, it's like living under an arc welder, and it's not as comfortable. It's I might be able to see clearer, but they've made harsh shadows, and other bad things associated with the design and the technology can occur. So let's not we're aware of the problem. Let's address it before it becomes widespread.
Right. Yeah, exactly. These are all wonderful things going on. I was wondering if Bev or Azechi or Nurali, Juwaji had anything to ask Pete?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
This is Bev. So number one, take a look at my video. I'm in my study which has LED light. I'm not 100% sure what the temperature of the light is, but it's looking to me like it's a pretty sharp white light, which is great in a study, but obviously you wouldn't want that in your bedroom. I did want to mention, and I'm sure you know about this, but that there was studies showing that, interestingly, one of the best lights to use outdoors to avoid attracting insects, which is one of the things that the whole Globe at Night kit teaches us, is we don't want to disrupt other creatures. They were saying the soft white LEDs, when they tested them, they did even better than those yellow bug lights. And I went out and I bought soft white LED, it's the ones that are directed down. I can't think of the name right now, but I have them in an outdoor fixture, and they aim straight down. They give me light exactly where I need it, and I have noticed this. They do attract fewer insects. So that is another thing that I would want to share.
You use the operative word, fewer.
Yes,
I have
not none, but fewer.
Yeah,
yes.
I have heard a claim made erroneously that they don't attract insects, and that's absolutely not true. They have less amount of ultraviolet light that's being emitted. That's it. So there's still plenty of insects that are responding to the visual spectrum that we do see. And I've heard this claim made multiple times, and I can go out and point to street lights in the evening that are 3,000 Kelvin and see bugs flying around them. So they certainly do attract insects. But yes, it's not as much as, say, a mercury vapor, which had this really sharp amount of green light associated with it, and the bugs kind of went goofy over it.
Yeah.
But we're discovering, and I think what you will discover too, is if you were turned into your little junior entomologists, you'd find specific insects are more attracted to it, and you can actually make your own little curve as far as, is it beetles, is it flies,
Beetles, those little brown beetles, those rose beetles. I see very few moths.
Yeah.
I see very few moths, but in this season in Tucson, where we have a ton of those,
right,
what I used to call rose beetles, remind me never to try and grow roses. There are hundreds of them.
Right.
But for the rest, I did find a significantly fewer of things like moths.
Right. Yeah. So there is, if somebody was, had in their past had tested and found lots of moths around their lights, and that's what they were testing. They were lepidopterists, and they went out and they put out this light, and suddenly they weren't getting as many. Their assertion would be they don't draw bugs. Well, they don't draw those bugs, but there are certainly other ones, as you've noticed. The beetles, they certainly have an affinity to it.
Interesting. Wow. Okay, well, we have also Ezechi and Jiwaji, if you would like to say or ask anything to Peter.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I think I'm very glad that we have heard an expert discourse on the light issue, because we have always been saying LEDs are savior sort of, but actually they're coming out to be not so. They have a lot of harm, and in fact, in my own home, I prefer the warm white. They say, even in these energy saver lights, I always ask for yellow colored light. So it is an issue. We are disturbing our environment a lot, night environment, by putting out a lot of LED lights.
Yes, the nocturnal habitat has never had this amount of blue light exposure to it ever. It's something new. And
Okay.
I think that it would be of no consequence is incredibly short-sighted. Something will happen. We don't know, but we do understand the effects. And let's. Do I not understand that in the U.S. the LEDs have been made mandatory? Sort of the filament incandescent have been phased out. Well, they didn't mandate LEDs. They mandated efficacy, and in so doing, it was a prohibitive amount that incandescent lamps could not meet that efficacy level. Compact fluorescents most certainly could. When the restriction that was made for the efficacy, meaning lights must achieve this amount in order to be sold, LEDs weren't even on the horizon. It was primarily a compact fluorescent game to get more of those out into the populace. That's not to say can't bear it. They said if every household simply switched one lamp from a 60 incandescent to a 60 compact fluorescent, enough to power the state of Delaware for a year. They came out with some tremendous amounts of energy savings that could be garnered from it. LEDs have kind of squeaked their way in, surpassing CFLs. So it wasn't a mandate for LEDs; it was a mandate for efficiency and efficacy. And
in energy use, yeah.
Yes, that was the inception of that particular rule.
Well, thank you. And how about Ezechi?
Great.
Any final thoughts and questions for Pete?
Okay. First of all, I have to thank you, Peter, for taking your time to explain some of these things to us.
Sure.
And it's obvious that they actually did it. From what I get you saying is that even though the LED has that good side of it for energy conservation, there's still that component of it, the blue light spectrum of it that actually cause some of these discomforts, and of course can actually affect one, maybe the aging eye. It's more not so good for the eye. I think we can draw the inspiration from there, and if we go about the when we have to carry out that glaring message, from what I can picture now, that we can know how to actually, if it's something that we do experience growing up, that discomfort you experience when one flashes a touchlight to your face, it makes you quite uncomfortable. You always like turn off the light. It's really educative. Though I don't know if any of you see have anything to. So somehow it's okay. We understand that. So thank you once again.
Sure, my pleasure. Yeah, the LEDs, they say, hold great promise and peril. The idea of the aging eye and how it affects us, and even time spatially during the day. We've heard people say, "Oh, IDA and the AMA says blue light is bad." Well, blue light is bad at certain times of the day. We need to have the blue light during the sun hours, as I'll call them, for proper entrainment for our circadian rhythm. If we don't have that blue light, we're messed up. But having blue light in the late part of our day, where our circadian rhythm changing to produce melatonin and such. That is where the problem lies. It's timing is everything with these particular products. To say, blue light is bad at a certain time of the day, and that's the most appropriate way to address it. So to say blue light is bad, no, we need to back off and clarify to say it's timing.
I think I really like the phrase that you coined here. LED lights hold promise and peril. I think that's really great. I truly think that we have enough. Oh, Bonaventure is there. Hi, Bonaventure. I don't know where he is, but I just got a message. We are a little bit beyond an hour. We started a few minutes later, so I was amenable to allowing this to be extended a little bit. But I think we really don't want to go much beyond an hour, and although we probably have enough ammunition here to
days.
I know, to talk for days. I truly think that this was an amazingly marvelous hangout today, and I really thank everybody for being here, from Bev and Rizechi's group, and Jiwaji's group, and Oscar, and the whole group that he represents as well. And for Pete to be here, that was just such a big bonus for us. Thank you so much. And of course, Ricky's an incredible narrator in his video and on the glare activity. I want to remind people that we are continuing for another 3 weeks to do these Google Hangouts, and each of those 3 weeks is a different activity. We do meet twice during those 3 weeks, on Tuesdays at 1 hour GMT, which is actually the night before for us here in Tiffany, but that's 1 hour GMT. On Tuesday, July 19th is the next one. And then on Thursdays, usually at 15 hours GMT, and that'll be the 21st for the next one, when we're going to be talking about light trespass, the activity on light trespass. And I want to thank everybody again for being here. Do you want to all shout out hello or goodbye?
Yes,
Bye.
hello, Peter and Connie. Hello, wish you the best.
And goodbye
It's
from...
been a very wonderful session. Oh, hi. Oh. Okay, so
Sorry,
but
you can hang on right after the broadcast and we can talk a little bit if you'd like. But I'll just end the broadcast here and thank you, and I look forward to seeing everybody next week.